What's up, everybody? Another lovely episode of Sammy and Marissa's Husbands. Um, Pretty packed day today. Got a This Day in History, as always, Athlete by Tyler, NBA playoffs, a little bit of random sports. We're going to go through a couple different sports, but you'll see when we get there. And then the much anticipated Jagged Little Pill review. I know you all have been really hammering us to get that down by Alanis Morissette. Some pet peeves, random questions if we have time, and then into final thoughts. So this day in history, June 9th, 69, 69. You.
Yeet.
1973, Secretariat wins Triple Crown. Have
Ah,
you have you seen the movie?
Toby Maguire, right?
Couldn't tell you.
I think he's in it, but no, I haven't seen it.
I just know there was a movie. Um, that's all I got. What constitutes the Triple Crown? What are the three races?
The Kentucky
Yeah,
Derby,
I knew that one. It's Preakness one.
the Preakness is before it, I think, or maybe the
Yeah,
Preakness is after it.
I think Kentucky Derby's first, Preakness after, and I think the third one is the last one, and I believe starts with a B. Belmont, is that crazy
Oh,
to
the
say?
Belmont Stakes.
Belmont Stakes, okay. Um, yeah. So I believe on this day, Secretariat won Belmont, completing the Triple Crown. 1893, Ford Theater. Ring a bell?
Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, nice. Ford Theater collapsed, killing 22 people. Same place that President Lincoln was assassinated in 1865. Apparently, there were some problems with renovations in the basement. I believe stuff probably happened like that all the time back then. But that place, influenced a lot of death, it sounds like,
It killed at least 23 people.
at least. Um, Question with that, do you think back then, before like 1900s, there were like licenses and certifications that people had to have in order to do like renovations on buildings?
Probably not. It's probably when did this happen? 1893.
Yeah.
Probably around then is when stuff had been built and like started to collapse, and it's probably around, I would say, 1900s, early 1900s, when it started becoming necessary to have that kind of thing. And now I feel like it's almost the opposite, where stuff is a little too bogged down and needing permits and shit.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the permits and licenses, are there in place for a reason, probably reasons like this. So 22 people aren't randomly working in their office because I believe this was also like an office building as well as like a theater, and they don't just like go into work and die one day.
Yeah, like
Um,
imagine Bryce going into his office and then the whole building collapsing.
yeah, all because they hired Tyler Caproni to go in there and do some reconstruction work.
I do grade A shit, buddy.
Grade A shit. At least 23 people would have died if you did it.
I wouldn't stop there. I would have killed at least 100. I'm a go-getter.
True, true. Um, 2008, Ken Griffey Jr. hit his 600th career home run, becoming the sixth player to ever do so.
The kid.
The kid is iconic. Does he have the sweetest swing ever?
100%.
It's not even close. It's really not.
100%. Effortless.
My take on lefties. Lefties do everything better, except Angel Reese. She can't shoot a jumper to save her life.
No, she's not a jump shooter. No, she's not.
Definitely not. The fact that he played in the same outfield as his dad is actually pretty nuts.
I think one game they hit back-to-back home runs.
I
I'm
think I think that's
95% sure.
Yeah, I think that's true. And I do remember a video of him stealing a couple of fly balls from his dad.
Yeah, I've seen that video too.
Yeah. Trivia question. How many total home runs does King Griffey have?
Junior or senior?
Junior.
Uh, I don't think he played too much. I think he played maybe till 2011. That's what I'm thinking in my head. Uh,
He was old then. Yeah.
six 618.
630.
I swear I was gonna say 6:30. I swear.
Yeah, sure you were, pal.
Oh,
All right, but
but
that's this day in history. So if you want to give us the athlete of the day, then take it.
tough athlete to follow with talking about Ken Griffey Jr. But
That's true.
I've got Dave Winfield. He played 22 years in the MLB. He finished with 283 career average, 3,110 hits, 465 home runs, 1,833 runs batted in, 12-time All-Star, 7-time Gold Glove, 6-time Silver Slugger, and is a member of the Baseball Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall of Famer, which is very rare. But he's our multi-sport athlete because he played basketball at the University of Minnesota, where his junior and senior year, where he averaged 9 points a game and 6 rebounds a game. And he was seventh in the Big Ten in true shooting percentage. But he's the only athlete to be drafted by 4 professional leagues. Drafted into the MLB. He was a 5th round pick in the NBA draft, a 6th round pick in the ABA draft. And even though he never played college football, the Minnesota Vikings selected him in the 17th round of the 1973 draft.
That is wild to me. Never played college football, and they're just going to be like, why don't you take less money and come play in the NFL?
Yeah, this dude is like a house, though.
Oh, he's a big dude.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Interesting. What position do you think he
Yeah,
would have played in the NFL?
middle linebacker.
Okay, so not like we're not talking offensive line.
No, 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 no. He's just like stacked. He was a insane player.
Interesting. Sounds like a freak.
In 2004, ESPN named him the third best all-around athlete of all time in any sport.
That's nuts.
Yeah. So I don't know how much farther up we can go with multi-sport athletes than this guy.
Yeah,
I know I
that's
know
pretty good.
two off the top of my head, but I'm saving those ones for like when we really want to.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm pretty sure I know the two that you're talking about. And those are two great ones. But I think we do a pretty good job of multi-sport athletes, people don't really know. You know what I mean?
I like that we, give a little shout. Obviously, these guys are known, but maybe not their other exploits.
Yeah, who knows? People may not care about our multi-sport athletes, but we do. So fuck them.
Fuck them.
Fuck them. So moving into NBA playoffs, it's kind of been our main segment for the past couple weeks because NBA playoffs kind of fall near and dear to our heart. You gonna watch the game tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay up. I gotta be up pretty early, but I think I'm gonna stay up to at least halftime and see what it looks like. If it's a close game, I'll probably just suck it up and stay up. So game one was last Thursday, and Celtics kind of beat the brakes off the Mavs 107-89. We both took Mavs, I think +7, +6.5, something like that. Obviously, that did not pan out. My biggest takeaways from the game are that the Mavs cannot guard the Celtics ball handlers. They get like into the paint, Jaylen Brown, Drew Holiday, Jason Tatum. And once they get into the paint, it's just like a mad scramble, and the Mavs just can't recover. Luka and Kyrie are not the greatest defenders in the world. They've improved, but they struggled big time. Um, the Mavs had way too many easy turnovers. I think Luka got ripped twice by Jaylen Brown in the first half, which is kind of unlike him. Um, Kyrie dribbled the ball off his leg a couple times, which just doesn't happen. I thought that was kind of appalling. The Celtics seem content with Luka scoring, but they seem like they're trying to get the ball out of Kyrie's hands. Um, you have any takeaways from the game that you saw?
I think they're just gonna let Porzingis do his thing. I mean, they just kind of dump the ball down to him and let him work. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just like that mid post catch, turn and face, 7'3". The way he played, I was like, how is this guy not a fucking 8-time All-Star.
Yeah. He made everything. He had 18 in his first 13 minutes of the game. Finished with 20, so he slowed down a little bit in the second half. I definitely didn't expect that at all. I don't even think he expected that. The look on his face when he was going crazy, I just don't even think he expected that.
Well, when he hit
Um,
that 30-foot line drive three, I was like, oh well, there's nothing. If he's hitting that, there's nothing you can do.
no, absolutely not, nothing. But I will say the Mavs seem to be switching everything, which I thought was kind of weird. They just didn't even seem to be trying to fight through screens. They're just like content with switching everything. Like the Celtics will go into a drop, the big will drop back and let that almost like a hedge situation without hedging, but they'll let that guard recover. But the Mavs are just switching it, and they'll put I can't think of their names for some right now, but Derek Jones Jr. like he's long, he's a good defender, but he has no business guarding Porzingis.
No, he doesn't have the weight
No.
or the size, really. I mean, not many people have the size to guard him, but
No, at least have Gafford try and fight back, and get back to Porzingis so he can't just shoot that like you can't even contest that jumper from the elbow. Like
no, it's like a cheat code.
absolute cheat code. So Luca had 17 in the first half, which I think we both kind of expected him to play well. Um, but I think he's going to continue scoring a lot. Um, but with that, we'll get into some of the lines that we picked. Um, and we can talk about that if that's what
Did
you
we,
want to do.
did we hit any?
We went 2 for 6, both of us.
Oh, that's honestly better than I thought.
Yeah, so Tatum over under 27.5. You took over, I took under. I hit that one. He hit 16. Brown over under 22.5. We both took the over. He finished with 22.
Oof,
There's a couple of these that
that's a bad beat.
yeah, there was a couple bad beats, especially that I had because they took their starters out with, 6 minutes to go, 7 minutes to go, or whatever it was. And that was one of them for me that really sucked because I do think he would have scored if he played another 5 minutes. Luca over under 31.5. You took under. I took over. He had 30. That was a bad beat for me, but it worked out for you. Kyrie over under 23.5. We both took the over. He finished with 12.
Yeah, that one hurts because I really thought he was going to go crazy.
Yeah, and it goes back to I think the Celtics they're content with Luca scoring because they want to take his playmaking ability away because that's where those threes come from. But they don't want Kyrie to score because they know he can get hot in a hurry. So really, when he would get the ball, they would double down and force him to be a playmaker, which is not really where he's most comfortable. He wants to score. So they had a good game plan. I'm interested to see if they stick with it. Um, Kristaps over under 15.5. We both took over. Obviously, that didn't happen because he might be Finals MVP if he plays like that.
Took under. We both took under.
We both took under. Yeah, excuse me. And he had 20. Horford, we were both correct. Over under 6.5. We both took the over. He had 10. I think he sits around 10 pretty much every game this series.
Well, when he opened the game, first of all, we got the lineup wrong for some reason. I think they changed that shit last minute
Yeah,
to
they
how
did.
we're starting. Um, but when he came out the game with a dunk and a three, I was like, oh, that's easy money.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Um, and I truly don't think they knew what to expect with Porzingis. Um, he
Well, who
probably
would have
had
expected that?
no. He was the best player in the world there for 15 minutes.
I mean,
Um,
that's what the Knicks thought they were getting when they drafted him.
yeah, exactly what they thought they were getting. Um, so Drew's 100% locks were come to find out not 100% locks. I didn't save his picks, but I know he didn't hit because I know that Luka got over on the rebounds, and I'm pretty sure Gafford and Lively both didn't get their rebounds either, which it was a parlay for him, so it didn't really matter. One is a loss. But yeah, his guaranteed picks did not hit, so basically he owes us both money. I'm gonna send him a Venmo request.
Yeah, I think I'm going to skip the Venmo request and just take him to small claims court.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great idea. Maybe get his credit all fucked up.
How funny would that be? Like you just like legit subpoena him for like $10.
That'd be awesome. We should make it happen.
All right. I mean, I
Or
hope he doesn't listen to this episode.
yeah, if you just happen to not click on one episode to watch, this is the one. So getting into game two tonight at 8:30, Celtics are favored by 6.5 again. Can the Mavs make some adjustments to find some offense?
The offense, I'm not worried about. Kyrie's too good of a player to have another game like that. Luca, I mean, he still scored 30, but it wasn't like the best 30. A lot of that was like garbage points. Um, it'll be a closer game, but I don't know if they can stop the Celtics. I didn't see anything that made me think they could. They went on stretches there where I thought, okay, the Celtics are going to have a hard time guarding them if they're on. That's definitely going to happen at times, but I don't think they can stop the Celtics.
Yeah. One thing I think is no way that the Celtics are going to shoot as good for three as they did the first game. I think especially in that first half, they went crazy from three. They didn't finish with the best percentage, but they made 16 threes versus Mavs 7 threes. So to me, those numbers need to be a lot closer for the Mavs to have a chance.
Well, the Mavs will play better defense, I would think, and the Celtics won't be as hot in theory. Mavs hopefully play better. They meet around 10, probably
Yeah, what's the number of threes Mavs have to hit to win, you think?
10.
You think if they hit 10 threes, they win?
If they can get 30 points from the 3-point line, I think they can win.
Okay.
But they got to keep the Celtics to around 10 also. Like if the Celtics
Right.
hit 16, just the law of averages, it's going to be tough. I mean,
Right.
the Celtics got a lot of guys that can. That Sam Hauser dude can fucking stroke.
Yeah, he can. Um,
Pause.
big pause on that one. Um, Kyrie also missed like three wide open threes.
That was an outlier game for him.
Yeah, it
That
was.
that's
I
not
think
going to happen again.
I do think the boos they affected him a bit. They
Couldn't they?
both
No, nobody wants to be booed like that, and he's got
no,
something to prove playing against Boston.
right, and I think that's what happened is he had something to prove. He went out there, he wasn't shooting great. So all that stuff wrapped into one, then the boos start coming, and it kind of I think got in his head a little bit.
Yeah, but
Um,
yeah, that's an outlier though. It won't happen again.
yeah.
I'll
Mavs
go
have to
to. I'll stamp that guaranteed.
I like that. I like a guarantee.
Oh yeah.
The
When I
Mavs have to limit the we keep talking in front of each other. The Mavs have to limit those bad turnovers though also.
Oh yeah, definitely. They can't have. I mean, there's a lot of careless ones, but I was gonna say when I said guaranteed last week and I like said it really loud, I was watching and I almost crashed my car.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, I was like way louder than the rest of the episode.
Yeah, that gave me a good chuckle as well. Um, I'm sticking with Mavs plus 6.5, but I've been more confident about bets before.
I'm taking the Celtics tonight. I'm still gonna take the Mavs in 7 because I got faith, but I don't think they're gonna get one of these two. I think they're gonna have to get game 5.
Yeah, that'll be back at Boston. So
Oh no, if they get them in 7, then
it'll be two two
they'd have to
one
get game
one.
7 if
They'll
they
have
don't.
yeah. Um, right. I think they have to get one of these games in order to make it a game seven to me.
So you think they'll lose one at home?
I could see them splitting both teams splitting at home. So I think the Mavs get this one. I think Celtics win game three, Mavs win game four, Celtics win game five, win game six, Mavs win game seven.
Okay.
That's what I'm calling right now. But
All right.
I like the Mavs plus 6.5. Um, that's what I'm gonna take. Some other lines I want to look into. Luca over under 32.5.
Under.
All right. I'm gonna take the over because I think he goes crazy. I thought he was gonna go crazy last game, and he had 30. Um, and he didn't play the last 5 minutes. I think he takes a little bit on himself to go nuts tonight. Kyrie over under 23.5.
Over, hammering it.
All right, I'm taking the under. I think he does play a
Hammering.
lot better. You say what?
I'm hammering it. I
Big,
might put
big
I
hammer.
might put $100 on
Yeah. But do what you got to do, brother.
it.
But I'm taking the under. I think he does play better. I just don't think he eclipses 23.5, and I think it's largely because of the amount of shots Lucas shoots. PJ Washington over under 12.5.
I think they're going to lose, so I'm going to take under.
Okay.
But that's the guy they need. He's the X
Yeah.
factor.
Yeah, so we're taking different approaches. I'm making my bets in the assumption that they're going to win and or cover. So I have PJ Washington over. I think he gets around 15, and that's that magic number. I think if he has about 15, they have a real shot to win games. He's got to make like three threes though.
Yeah. Yeah, agree.
Um, Jason Tatum over under 27.5.
Over.
All
He's
right.
he's over, I think. I'm just going to stick with my, they got to make sense for the Celtics to win, right?
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, if that's the trajectory you're going on, then you have to take this. I'm going to take the under. I still think he's going to struggle in the series. He didn't really shoot bad last game. He just didn't take a lot of shots, and it worked. So I'm thinking he's going to go with that same approach and not take tons of shots. And if he's not taking tons of shots, he's a volume guy. So to me, if he's not taking tons of shots, he's going to struggle making those big shots when it comes down to it. So that's my approach. Jaylen Brown over under 23.5.
Over. Best player in the series.
Ooh, interesting take
He's
right
my
there.
finals MVP.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue with how he played last game offensively and defensively. I'm going to take the over as well with Jaylen Brown. I do think as well he's the guy on the team right now. Um, with all that energy he brings defensively, like he's out there making plays. He ripped Luca like twice. Um, and he's just, he's cold-blooded, dude.
How about that fucking dunk? Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah, nah,
Like,
freak athlete.
I legit jumped out of my fucking couch.
Yeah, that was exciting. He can put on a show. Kristaps over under 15.5.
Drew had an interesting theory on this. It's kind of like everybody's first game back, they're always like hyped up and they play well. And he thinks he's going to put up a stinker. So I'm going to ride with Drew and say he puts up a stinker. By stinker, I mean like 13.
Yeah. Um, I took the under as well. I thought the same kind of deal. Goes back to what we talked about a couple episodes ago. Is like when you haven't been playing pickup in a while, you go to the gym and it just feels like, you picked up right where you left off. The shot's feeling great, everything's going smooth, and then the next time you go, it's like you've never touched a basketball before.
Yep.
Um, so I don't think it's quite going to be like that because, he is an NBA player, but I do think he struggles. I think the Mavs are going to make some adjustments where he doesn't have, a guard on him at the elbow as much. Um, and I'm taking the under as well.
Well, they're going to have to do something about that if they want to win.
Correct, correct. Horford over under 8.5.
Oh, they bumped my boy's point total up a little bit. The
Yep,
sports books are trying to recoup some of that loss.
yeah,
I'll take the over again.
yeah. I have the over on that as well. I think with Kristaps struggling, Horford's going to have to play a little bit minutes, and if the Celtics, I mean Horford, honestly, when he's on the court, he makes the right plays. He's always where he needs to be. Um, and I like Horford. I'd want Horford on my team.
He is just like the perfect at this stage of his. I mean, he's 5-time All-Star, but at this stage of his career, he's the perfect role player.
Right, and he doesn't mind taking a back seat when he needs to. Like he just wants to win.
That
Um,
dunk, like you could tell he was like hyped to be back in the finals. That first play,
Yeah, he was
He's
pumped up.
two-hand. Like I haven't seen a move like that since Atlanta.
Yeah, I don't know if he's dunked with two hands since Atlanta. Now for our favorite segment. This is growing into my favorite segment. Um, Drew's winning picks.
All right.
So our resident uh gambling loser, if you will,
The fat
has
that fat son bitch.
that's so big. Um, I do like his parlay today. I do.
Okay.
Um, Chris Stapps under 15 and a half. Chris Stapps over 1.5 blocks. Drew Holiday over 4.5 assists. Mavs alternate spread plus 17 and a half. Over 203.5 combined points. Overall, I like the picks. I probably would keep the Drew Holiday assist pick off mine, but I mean, it definitely could happen with the way they were playing last game. They had 196 last game in their blowout. I think 204 is very safe in a competitive game. But yeah, I think it's a solid parlay.
And looking at his stats, they gave him 3 blocks last game, but when I was watching, it felt like he had 4 or 5.
Yeah, if he didn't have 4 or 5, he altered those shots big time. And I guess they didn't give him credit for touching the ball, but I think he's someone that the Mavs haven't really had to deal with. I know they had Gobert, but Gobert just played completely different against Luca and Kyrie. It was, all pick and roll type stuff. They were shooting the ball more instead of driving. Like Luca and Kyrie were getting to the rim. Luca didn't really take that many threes.
Well, and Kristaps is just a different type of player. He's more coordinated. He's more athletic. Gobert, a lot of his blocks, I feel like, are post type blocks, or he's like blocking somebody shooting a floater. Like he's not getting chase downs or fucking contesting somebody at the rim when they're trying to bang on him. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously he's going to contest them. He's 7 feet tall, but it's just a different style of block shot.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, if Gobert goes to try and block a Kyrie layup, he's probably gonna snap his leg in half because he's uncoordinated as fuck.
There's been a lot of Rudy Gobert hate on this podcast, and I just want to say, Rudy, if you're listening, and we know you are, we both think you're going to be a Hall of Famer. So,
Yeah, worst Hall of Famer of all time.
oh no, I'm the worst Hall of Famer ever.
Yeah, I
Oh
mean, that's
no.
yeah. Um, but that's that. I'm excited to watch that game tonight. I think it's gonna be a good one. Um, but moving into some other sports, we'll talk a little bit about not really the WNBA, but women's basketball. The women's Olympic basketball roster was announced the other day, and can we guess who's not on it?
Caitlin Clark.
Correct. Ding, ding, ding. I get that she might not be a top 15 player in the WNBA right now.
She's not.
She's
She's
not.
not.
No, she's not. That's fair. But do these girls really want to fly private or not?
Well, this isn't on anybody that's playing. This isn't even the WNBA. They're not the Olympic Committee.
That's true.
So I've seen a lot of people like, oh, what the fuck's the NBA doing? They don't know how it works. It's not the same organization. It's different.
Correct. It is
Should
different.
should she be on there from a global marketing standpoint to build the game? Sure. But does she deserve to be on there? I don't know.
I don't necessarily think she deserves to be on there, but you look at like what the Olympics used to do, the men's basketball Olympics, where they used to, take a college player who's, obviously not deserving to be on the team, but they do it to almost build that person's brand a little bit, I think. And, you know, for the WNBA, I understand the WNBA is not making this decision, but, women's basketball, like Caitlin Clark being on a global stage, I think would do a lot of things to the WNBA. Um, she could not play a minute, right? But she's still there. People are tuned into the games to watch her. They see the Diana Taurasi's and stuff of the world, right? Who Diana Taurasi, may be the greatest women's basketball player of all time. I know there's a lot of argument in there, um, but truly, like fans, they don't give a fuck about Diana Taurasi. Women's
No,
basketball fans do, but like people that are just tuning into the Olympics to watch, they don't. They want to see Caitlin Clark.
the novice fan doesn't know anything about women's basketball anyway.
Correct.
You know, they're only there for the hype train, which, good, bad, worse, whatever. That's just what it is. They want to see Caitlin Clark play. But also, I haven't heard her make any comments about it. Did she even want? I'm sure she wanted to, but like, has she tried out? Like, what's the process like?
Yeah, I'm not sure about the process. I know that the
Like,
men's
like,
Olympic
did
team,
she get snubbed? Maybe she didn't even want to go.
right? So I've seen a couple things. Her coach put out that Caitlin Clark like messaged her. She texted her coach saying like they done woke up a monster or something like that. Who knows if that's true or not? But I think she's handling all of the criticism and stuff in the media pretty well. I'm sure it bothers her. She's a competitor, but she's speaking well. She's deflecting pretty good in the media. I'm sure it bothers her, but she's taking it well. She's mature, I think, and um understands probably that, she's not top 15 player. She's probably not top 30 right now. Um, but overall, I think she's handling the stuff pretty good.
They'll still win the gold easily.
Oh, 100%. That's the easiest lock there is. Um,
Who's guarded Diana Taurasi and Sabrina Ionesco?
Nobody.
Like, what the fuck are they gonna do? They're gonna get killed.
Right, they're
So
gonna get destroyed. Um, but moving from women's basketball to College World Series, I know you're not tuned into College World Series tons, but I just wanted to talk about it a bit. It was a big weekend of like super regional college baseball. They're still playing right now. Carolina moved on to the College World Series to face Virginia next weekend. I'm pretty excited, and I think it's a good draw for them. I think they got a good chance to move into that next round. Um, Biggest surprise of the tournament is Evansville. Evansville is playing Tennessee right now in game 3 of their super regional. They just started at 6. They won their conference tournament, which got them a spot in the regional tournament, just kind of like March Madness does. You win your conference tournament, you get automatic bid. No one picked them to move on. They beat ECU, who's a pretty solid team. And right now they're giving Tennessee a run for their money. They tied the series up 1-1. They're playing game 3, elimination game tonight. Um, I don't think they have enough pitching to give Tennessee a run for their money in game 3. Tennessee's like the best team in the nation. So I do think they're probably going to struggle tonight because they blew through their 2 stud pitchers. And now we're just going to see what they got in the bullpen.
Is Evansville a D1 school for everything,
That's a good question. I don't know.
or if they have other D1 sports? Because I've never even heard of them.
Never heard of them at all.
That's that's huge. I mean, it's cool. I pay next to no attention to college baseball, but I do love an underdog.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's where college baseball is fun, is those underdogs. But before we take a commercial break, we'll move into some mixed martial arts. Um, I know you saw that viral clip of Eddie Hall in that 2 versus 1.
Yes.
First of all, 2 versus 1, I think is the most insane thing that I've ever seen. Um, where that fight had to take place in some foreign country, right?
The promotion is called like Freak Show Fights,
Yeah.
something like that, or Misfits Fights or some shit. The two dudes he was fighting, they're not like, I saw some stuff like they're midgets or whatever, or little people. Um, they're both 5'3", so they're not like, they're short men. Like they're not. I mean, they're just short dudes. They're like,
Yeah.
they're like my dad's size, but and then when I think about it like that, is I could beat the shit out of two of my dad.
Yeah, probably.
You know,
Um,
Eddie
yeah,
Hall's the strongest man in the world, but I think
right.
those guys are legit MMA fighters.
Yeah, they're just really little compared to a
Yeah.
very big man.
I
Um,
could fuck with that. Do you think the two of us could beat him up?
Eddie Hall, I don't think there's anything we could do to like get him to the ground or really bother him, to be honest.
Yeah, he
And
looks like
and
he hits pretty hard.
yeah, I was just gonna say when he picked that dude up over his head, slammed him on the ground. So I was watching it. The dude that got slammed on the ground got up and immediately started running back at him and just got knocked out completely cold. Like to just get up, start sprinting back, and then just get just right hooked to the dome piece and just go to sleep is hilarious.
Yeah, and Eddie Hall did that boxing match with uh Thor Bjornsson too.
I don't even
So
think I saw that.
yeah, I mean, they're both world's strongest men, but Thor's 6'9", 400 pounds. And
Right.
Eddie Hall didn't get knocked out. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they've probably done some training. You usually don't go on live television and try and embarrass yourself. So
yeah, you can count me out of that one. I don't think I want to fight that dude either.
yeah, and then last thing about this event, what'd you say it was called? World Freak Show?
Freak show fights or something like that.
Something
Freak
like
fights,
that.
maybe.
So I know those two that fought Eddie Hall were not midgets. However, they did have two midgets fight.
I saw that too.
And I saw a midget head kick knockout, which is absolutely absurd. I mean, honestly, how impressive is that? I didn't even think midgets could lift their leg up that high. I mean, given the other guy's not that tall, but I didn't think that was possible. And apparently, neither did the other dude.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't really plan for it. It was the first strike thrown in the fight. Also,
Yeah,
Ken, do I need to bleep out midget?
I don't think so.
I'm not going to. So if we get canceled, it was a good run.
I don't mean anything to, make you guys feel some type of way. I think little people might be even more disrespectful.
I don't know. We don't know any.
We don't know. Well, I guarantee you, the six people that listen to this aren't going to care that I said midget.
Oh God.
All right. So with that, we'll probably pause for a little commercial break and then we'll be back.
Does your podcast partner keep saying the word midget even after you've requested multiple times for him to not do it? You should consider canceling the show or dialing 1-800 I swear I'm not a bigot.
All right. And we're back. Back with another Sunday episode. Um, Up next on the agenda is what you guys have all been waiting for, and it's our album review of Jagged Little Pill by Alanis Morissette. Um, Probably not going to dive too far in deep with a review of every song. I'm just going to say my favorite songs. Um, my first point is Alanis may be on drugs when she made this album.
Ay, 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 ay.
Yeah, yeah, that's basically what it sounds like the whole time. She actually has a lot of good songs on the album. I was pretty impressed, and honestly, I added a couple to my gym playlist because they kind of pump me up. Um, Starting off the album is a song called All I Really Want, and hell of a way to start an album.
Banger.
Banger, absolute banger. You Ought to Know, absolute bop. Hand in My Pocket is a slapper. That would be a fun karaoke song.
Yeah.
Head
Yeah,
Over Feet to me is kind of a jam. And then we all know how I feel about Ironic. I think Ironic should be titled Iconic because it is an absolute masterpiece.
yeah, I mean we have pretty much the same songs. All I really want, you ought to know, hand in my pocket, right through you, and you learn. Also, I liked, overall, I'd say the album is legitimately like a 7.9, 8.0.
Yeah, it's good. I listened to it. It took me like, 3 days of riding in the car to listen to because I didn't really listen to it other than in the car. But there wasn't really a song that I was just like, oh God, can we please get this one over with? Now given they're not all my style, but they're all catchy. They're all different. Like she's got a weird style and and they're good songs, good songs. Some are going to be in my rotation.
Yeah, I mean, I do have the benefit of I've heard all of these songs before. My mom had this CD.
Uh,
So I've heard this stuff before, but they're all, I mean, there's really no skips, I'd say.
no.
There's some that might be, you know, maybe filler,
Yeah.
but there's everything is good. There's no trash.
Yeah, I agree. And there might be some where you're not like really in the mood to listen to that type of song right now, and then that might be a skip per se, but it's not a skip of a song. The songs are put together well and they all have a purpose. I want to put a little picture in you guys' head, the listeners. Imagine the boys prime drunk in CB. So it's one of those burn in CB nights. We're literally getting kicked out of Fat P right now because it's closing. It's raining. And Alanis comes over the jukebox with her song Ironic. And we all lose our minds. And then
Good
we did, yeah.
good luck getting me out.
Yeah, we stood outside the door at Fat P just jamming to Ironic, which should be called Iconic.
What a what a great song. Do you know the show Full House?
Yeah.
Um the song You Ought to Know
Hmm.
is written about Uncle Joey.
Really
Yeah, they dated and she like wrote this whole album like
interesting.
about him. Yeah.
He was kind of a nutcase too.
Dave Coulier.
Interesting. That was probably a hell of a couple.
Yeah, I don't think they were together too long. And I think she was a woman scorned and just put out 12 bangers.
Interesting. All right. So you got any last thoughts of
Last
the
thoughts?
album? Last thoughts of the album.
Oh, okay. I'd recommend everybody should listen to that. I think it's really good.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. You guys should all take a listen and let us know what your favorite songs are and if you add any to your playlist.
Yeah, and maybe that'll be our question of the week if they have any albums they want us to review.
Yeah, I like that. Um, moving into the next segment, I have some pet peeves. All right, so I'll get into my pet peeves. When you send a TikTok to one of your good pals and they obviously don't watch what you send them, and then they send you the same exact video a day later, that really grinds my gears. And it just so happens that one of my really good pals did that to me this week, and he just so happens to have the name of Marissa's husband.
We can't all be perfect. I'm batting 990. You know, I, I I've been reading a lot of books,
Leatherbound.
leather bound. Yep. And I've been a little slack on my TikTok game. I'm not gonna front. I'm not gonna bullshit.
This shit just pisses me off because I send those TikToks tailored to you. I tailor my TikToks to certain people.
Well, of course, everybody's got a formula. Like I send you stuff, my wife stuff, and Wes's wife stuff. Those are pretty much the only people I send stuff to.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know Wes doesn't watch any of the TikToks I send him, so I don't even waste my time sending them to him anymore. Um, if I have a really good one that I think I know you need to see, then I just send it to you as a text message.
Yeah, text message is definitely the best way to get eyes on it quick.
Yeah, but I should have some faith that my friend is going to actually watch what I send them.
I'm not perfect,
Yeah, I know that.
nor do I claim to be.
Another pet peeve. This is actually a pet peeve sent in by a listener, but I think we can all relate. Um, when you're at a restaurant or in a line of some sort, this person just so happened to be at Islands Tacos because they are our resident fat ass.
Hmm.
And
Fat some bitch went to get some tacos. Golly, that fat motherfucker, boy. I'd be ashamed.
Oh man, but yeah, so he was standing in line getting ready to order probably two trays of tacos because one just doesn't do it for him. And this person behind him was just unnecessarily close.
Oh God.
That is the worst. I hate that. Especially to me, what really bothers me is when somebody's close to me online is at the grocery store.
Oh yeah, because there's not limited space there. There's a whole store.
Right. Or like I'm in line and right, I get it, the line is tight and stuff, but like just take a step back. I don't want your cart. Like if I have to like adjust, like and I touched your cart, like there's something wrong.
Have you ever asked somebody to take a step back? I have.
I've never asked someone to take a step back, but I've given a look and that look made them be like, oh shit, maybe I am a little close.
Yeah, I mean, I've been politely like, "Hey, can you back up a little bit?"
Yeah.
I mean, there's no real nice way.
No, there's not a nice way to do it. And the look that you give them is honestly, sometimes more rude than saying nicely, hey, can you give me some space, please?
Yeah, like, why don't you take a step back?
Hey, pal, get the fuck away from me.
Hey, chief,
Yeah,
why don't
just throw
you?
in one of those too, so it's a pet peeve for them.
Yeah, that's a rough one. I
Yep.
will. That this is kind of along the same lines. This does piss me off though. So I guess this is a pet peeve when you hold the door for somebody and they don't say anything.
Yeah, that's super annoying. Like you don't have to say, "Oh, thank you, kind sir," but just like give me a nod, give me some kind of form of acknowledgement that I went out of my way to hold the door for you. Also, another holding the door instance is like sometimes I'll be leaving the gym and I'll hold the door for someone that's behind me and they don't like take the door from me. So
Oh,
I
they just
hold it
let
for
it
them.
fall.
Or no, like I'll hold it until they reach out their hand to hold the door, like take the door from me, but they
Yeah.
just won't do it. So then like three people behind them are like coming through, like thinking I'm just holding the door for everybody. So I eventually just have to like let the door go and like smack somebody. And then I'm the asshole because I didn't hold the door for anybody. But I'm not gonna sit there and hold the door for your whole group of people to come through.
No, yeah, that's I've been in that situation where I've seen somebody who got trapped and then I've done the transfer for them.
Right. Right. Because that's what a, self-respecting person
Like
does.
like a normal person.
Right.
Like no one wants to hold the door for 15 fucking people.
No, have some self-awareness.
Well, that's in short supply these days.
Yeah, it sure is. It sure is. But moving from pet peeves, random questions. You got a
I,
couple?
I got you. I can go as many as you want.
All right, I got one to start. Um, you're at your house, you're thirsty, you're parched. Do you have a go-to cup?
No, no, I don't.
You just opening the cabinet and taking whatever's right there?
I truthfully drink out of a jug most of the time. I just have like a water jug,
That's fair.
which
So your
which
go-to
is a
cup,
which is a pet peeve of Marissa.
I could imagine. I could imagine
She
how that would
she
be a pet
says,
peeve.
don't do that. And then I go, gulp, gulp. I just fucking drink the water. I don't know. She
You
hates
know
that
what,
shit.
what's really gonna piss her off is one day when you have some little ones running around and they see you do that, and then you have to tell them not to do that because your wife says you can't, and they just do it anyway because that's what dad does.
Do as I say, not as I do. A wise man once told me that.
That's fair. I've been lectured with that same saying many, many times.
Well, I'm talking about your dad, so
Right, right.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. All right. You got a random question? Oh, wait. I have a cup. That's why I asked the question.
Okay, all right.
I have like a go-to cup. Like if it doesn't matter what it is, milk, water, juice. I truly don't like drink anything other than water when I'm at home because we don't have anything unless I'm like having a glass of milk with some dessert or something. But yeah, there's definitely I have these tall mason jars that I actually got from my dad, and they are just like the perfect size for like I can put a bunch of ice in there and still get a decent amount of water. And it's just my go-to. Like if I'm getting a cup to drink anything, like that's what I'm drinking it out of.
Are they just do they have the cap too?
Yeah, they do. We actually have some cool caps with them. So like if you want to put a smoothie or something in them, they want it like sealable caps.
Nice.
You drink it with a straw. It's pretty cool.
All right. I do have a favorite coffee cup.
Yeah, I feel like, that's pretty typical. You got to have your go-to coffee cup.
We have a shitload of cups.
Yeah, that's another pet peeve of mine. I hate having too many cups. Like there's two people that live in this fucking house. Why do we need 25 cups in the cabinet?
Don't look in my fucking cabinets, bro.
Yeah, it's the
Um,
same as mine.
all right. This is a one-part question, but it's got two sections.
Okay.
What was your least favorite thing to make as a cook at B-Dubs, and what was your favorite thing to make?
Whew. That's tough because this could go a few different ways. If we're talking like most annoying thing to make, probably anything involving grilled chicken because it took the longest and you really had to pay attention to if it was done or not. You can't serve raw chicken and you also don't want to burn the shit out of it because then it just sucks. So it just like took a little bit more attention than I wanted to put to it. Because you throw a burger on the grill. You cook a burger a little bit too long. Like it's Buffalo Wild Wings. They're kind of expecting to have a shitty burger. Um, Favorite thing to make? I always liked making like a chicken tender wrap, and that's also like what I like to eat as well. Um, and I thought I roll a pretty good wrap. So I took some pride in my tender wraps, and I would say I had a pretty solid one. I would say I had the best one. I know there's probably going to be someone listening that thinks they have a better one, but have you looked at that person's fingers?
Oh God, poor guy.
Yeah, like let's be real. With those fingers, you're not rolling a good wrap.
And that's why he can't roll a blunt.
Yeah, I was just getting to that. I mean, can't roll a wrap, can't roll a blunt, vice versa.
I will say it is definitely a skill to do a wrap because when I worked at Arby's, I could not figure out the wraps. It was it was definitely a pain in the ass.
There's a technique. Once you figure out the way to fold and like roll it up so it's tight, it's pretty easy once you get the technique down.
Mhm.
All right. Next random question. When you're making some food and you got to cut something up, do you use a plastic cutting board or a wooden cutting board?
We have we have both, but our wooden cutting board is uh it's not really practical. It's too small. So the majority of the time, a plastic cutting board. But I really want to move away from that because I hear it's pretty bad for you.
Yeah, that's where I was going with this. We use plastic ones primarily because of the convenience. You just throw them in the dishwasher, shit's G to G. The wooden one like is nice and all. Like I like cutting vegetables on it. When we do vegetables, it's always usually on our wood cutting boards. Because those are easy to clean. I don't have to but like if it's raw chicken or something like that, I don't want that on my wood and then me be worried about if it got all cleaned off. So we do use the plastic ones. However, we are in the same boat where we're trying to move away from it. I just don't really know how to go about that.
Yeah, because I've put the wooden one in the dishwasher before, but it when it comes out, it just doesn't feel. It's like, oh, this definitely should not be in here.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think they're meant to be dishwasher ran. I think it's definitely a hand washing thing. And I'm pretty lazy when it comes to hand washing. That's why God made dishwashers, aka women. Fuck.
Named Sammy and Marissa.
Yeah, it's all good because they're not gonna listen to this. So.
They don't know what the fuck we talk about on here. Um, shout out Marissa. She plugged the podcast at my tennis match, which I won mixed doubles. We won 6-3, 6-1.
Yeah,
Dominant.
was she in the bleachers just yelling, "My husband has a podcast"?
She was talking to people and she plugged it.
Nice. Well, hopefully we get a couple more listeners, and hopefully they're not women.
But not that we don't want women to listen, just that they might not like what Trey just said. Because I don't feel that way.
Yeah, I'm in the kitchen. I'm washing dishes. That was just I just said that, you know.
It's a joke. Everybody calm down.
Yeah,
Take take your Facebook posts down. Take down your Yelp reviews of our podcast.
people can't make fucking jokes anymore.
It's Biden's America, buddy. Um, for my second question, I just had it. What the fuck were we just talking about?
We were talking about women being dishwashers. We were talking about plastic cutting boards.
Oh yeah, this when oh god, I haven't made one unruly comment the whole time we've had this thing going.
Yeah, you've done a good job of restraining yourself, I do say.
Well, if I spoke freely, no one would. I would actually get canceled. Oh, I'm reading Salem's Lot
Mhm.
by Stephen King. I read 70 pages yesterday, so I was like, oh, I was really kind of getting after it. Do you have a top three books you've read? Because I know you read, or like a book you would recommend to somebody.
Ooh, um, that's tough. I have read a decent amount of leather-bound books,
Mm.
but it depends on what you're looking for. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the books I read are about leadership because it's kind of like what I'm interested in. Um, and I can't think of the name of the book right now. But there's a book called River Runs Through It. It's not. It's like it's a fictional book, and it's pretty good. It's kind of made up of like short stories, and it's primarily about uh, a guy that kind of goes on this adventure into the wilderness, takes up fly fishing. It's a lot about like fly fishing and his relationship with like his wife and his father, and it goes through these different short stories, and it's pretty good. It's entertaining, and it's a little bit um, different than the type of books um, that I read. Um, another book that I've read, what's the name? Hold on. Oh, Extreme Ownership. Have you ever
I,
heard of that?
I've practiced some extreme ownership at work. Me and Wes have. We've tried to. He's tried to, do the trickle down effect where he takes extreme ownership and has tried to make it catch on with the people on our wholesale team. Uh, but I think it's from that book. I think somebody at work read it and then it's kind of tried to be instituted.
Yeah, it's an interesting philosophy, right? Because, a lot of times something bad will happen and, you know, you want to put the blame on whoever's fault it is. And that is, sometimes it is somebody's fault. However, usually there could have been some kind of, guidance put down or a little bit more teaching that went on to prevent said issue from happening. So like using your gas spilling as an example. Um, the guy that spilled the gas could have blamed the hose for being messed up or something like that, and that's why it got caught on the bumper. And he backed up, the whole thing happened or whatever. Um, but you're the one that was out there seeing it happen, right? You're taking out the trash. You noticed that he was pulling up to the gas pump in a funky situation. You, as a person that knows what right is supposed to be, should have went over there and been like, "Hey, dude, like this isn't the way we're supposed to do it. Like you're gonna probably cause an accident. And then in reality, that situation probably could have been prevented. Now, however, is that your job to take on? Probably not. But when we're talking about extreme ownership, you know what I mean? Like that's what
That's
that is.
that's crazy that this is now my fault. See, that's my beef with it. Because fuck that guy. I, is, I was just taking out the trash.
But did you or did you not take out the trash and see him pull up to the pump in the incorrect way?
I saw him parked incorrectly. Yes, I didn't see him pull up there, but I did see the truck before that happened. Yes,
So hey, look, I don't make the rules.
you're gonna get me fired.
But then, all the way up the chain, right? Wes being a manager, you know, he's probably noticed people doing that wrong in the past and it hasn't caused an issue. So nobody said anything. But that is the incorrect way to do things. And him as a person in authority, you have to make those corrections.
Yeah, it's an interesting philosophy, that's for sure.
Right. Now, given
That-
the dude just needs to take some personal responsibility and not be an idiot and put the fucking pump back when he pumps gas.
yeah, it is interesting. I think it's got good tenants. It's a person like me, it's very tough for me to get behind that because I'm very much like I do my stuff right. You should do your stuff right. So it's like it's been hard for me too because there have been things where say I'm 50% in the wrong when in the past I've always been like, well, what about the other 50%? You didn't do your shit. And instead of being like, okay, what can I do to make this 100% better instead of just doing my part?
Yeah, it's moving from a lead to a leader mentality.
Yeah.
But
It's
but it's a good
yeah.
book. Like it's honestly a good read. He tells some pretty cool stories and he gives some pretty cool examples about how he's failed in the past and if you implement this extreme ownership, why he should take the blame. Um, so it's just an interesting thing. It might not be for everybody. It's not going to work in every situation, but it's a different way of thinking about things.
Yeah. I think it's definitely worth trying.
Right, right. At least implementing it a little bit. And it
Yeah.
sounds like you guys are doing that in a sense, which is cool. I'd be interested to see kind of how it turns out.
Yeah, it's honestly helped at least with the stuff that Wes and I do.
Yeah,
Um, Also, a river runs through it. Have you seen the movie?
I haven't. I didn't know there was a movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Huh.
I mean, it'd probably be interesting for you to see it because you know exactly what happens in the book if it, holds up.
Yeah, no, I'd be interested to check it out. But yeah, that's a pretty good book. It's a little bit different of the type of books that I read, so I was pretty interested in it.
There's a little known actor in that movie called Brad Pitt.
Really?
It's when he was younger, yeah.
Yeah, never heard of him.
Yeah, mid 90s.
Interesting. I'll check it out. But yeah, we're kind of down our little agenda. Do you have any final thoughts? I kind of have a little story.
Go ahead.
So I went and played pickup today. Went crazy per usual.
Ob-
Um, yeah, obviously it was just one of those days when everything was working. I felt pretty athletic. The jumper was on. So getting into the story, we win 2 games in a row. The dude that we just beat makes a comment. He's kind of been chirping the whole game. He's a pretty in shape guy. He's not horrible at basketball. He's not really going to do too much with the ball in his hand. He can make an open three, play decent defense. He fouls a lot. I've played with him multiple times before. Doesn't usually say anything. He makes a comment about getting lucky. I think he was a little ticked off. We won like 12-8, so I don't really know how we got lucky. But, I said something back as I do, right? I don't know. I don't really remember what I said. But he said something like, play me 1-on-1 and see what happens, or something outrageous. Um, and I laughed because that was funny. And told him he'd be lucky if he scored 3, and I couldn't imagine wasting my time on something like that. But he could sit back and wait his turn until this game is over and he can come get it. Um, Safe to say he was very upset when I said that. Very upset. Gets up, wants to fight and all this stuff. And I was just laughing. Everybody kind of knew he was like had no warrant off what he was doing, but he's talking the whole game, um talking like the whole game, just chirping every time we come down there. I went absolutely ballistic that game, had like 8 of our 12 points. And I'm like talking to him after every time I score and I run down the court. And he started to get quieter and quieter towards the end of the game. We check up to start the next game, and he just chose to guard someone else. He didn't guard me. And I literally, the dude checks the ball to me, and I look at him and I say, after all that, and you're not going to come out here and guard me. He didn't say a single word. He didn't say a single word the whole game. We won like 12-6. He took his shoes off and he left.
What a fucking loser.
Right? I mean, at least go out there. Like, you're going to talk all that and then you're not going to guard me.
You go out there and you die on your sword.
You
Stand on
have
that
to.
shit.
You have to. I don't care if
Listen, I've talked shit to people and they have absolutely cooked me. But you know what? I went out there and I got mine. I went out there and I took it. If you talk to somebody and you're not going to stand on it, you lose all respect as a ball player.
Yeah.
Like you I would never even go back to that gym if I did something like that.
Yeah. And I literally looked him in the face as we checked the ball up. And I said, after all that, you're not going to come out here and guard me. And then the dude that was guarding me, who was pretty decent, looked back at him to give him his opportunity. And he just stood there and didn't say a word. And I cooked his buddy.
What a joke.
Yeah, it was big time. It was pretty good. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that pretty good.
That's the stuff we need on film.
I know. And I really thought about taking the GoPro today, but it's just kind of awkward when you're going
Oh,
out
definitely.
there and you don't really know tons of people. And then I'm gonna set up a camera. You know what I mean? Like, who am I?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're
It was
you're a guy
different.
you're a guy with a podcast with 28 episodes.
Facts, big facts. But it was different when we were at the CB Rec because, we knew everybody that went there. They knew we were good, like all this stuff. And it was just they knew what we were doing kind of deal. Um, but yeah, so I gotta figure out a way to try and get some episodes because I would have loved to have that on video.
Oh my God. I can't believe.
I was baffled. Like when he didn't come out and guard me, I was just like, are you kidding me right now?
I thought you were gonna tell me he like fouled you really hard or something, or
Nope, he didn't come near me. He wouldn't even play help defense. I don't even know why.
he was intimidated.
I guess. I mean, I have that effect on people.
I mean, you're not even that good. What the fuck?
True, but I was playing really good today. I did play really well.
Dude, if you hit me with if I saw you say I'd beat you 12-3 and it wouldn't even be worth my time, I would have left the gym then.
Yeah, there's an old dude that he's like retired military. His name, I'm not even gonna say his name, but he's a pretty cool dude and he knows his role. He knows he's older. He can spot up and shoot threes. Um, but he's a good facilitator and I like playing with him. And that dude said like, "Oh, play me 1-on-1 and see what happens." And then the old dude was like, "Get the fuck out of here." And then I said you'd be lucky if you score three. And honestly, I couldn't imagine wasting my time
God. You think you beat his ass?
in a fight.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd beat his ass. No. I mean, he's about 6 foot, pretty stocky dude, looks pretty strong. Like I said, he's a decently athletic guy, which is crazy to me that he just like didn't accept the challenge in a sense. I don't
He
think I
doesn't
beat
have,
his ass in a fight. Who knows if he can fight or not? He was talking like he could. Um, but you never really know. Everybody's gonna talk like they can.
if that is just baffling to me that he didn't even
I was so shocked that he didn't go out and
as a,
fight.
what kind of athlete are you that you back down? I mean, this is a whole podcast about like sports. Like, how are you going to back down from a challenge that you created?
Yeah, I didn't say anything to him except after he said something about it being lucky. So he started it.
Fuck him, dude.
Fuck him. But yeah, that shit was that was crazy. That was just a an interesting moment. So I felt like I had to tell that story.
Yeah, I was going to let you know I got a couple of clips from my tennis match for the YouTube, but
Hell yeah, any shit talking out there?
I don't. I'll only shit talk if they shit talk.
Yeah, yeah, I
Which
know what you mean.
is basketball's different. I'll shit talk the whole time anyway, but
Right.
tennis, I try and be a little. I try and stay a little more inside myself. I definitely said a couple motherfuckers this, motherfucker that, and then I'm realizing I'm playing mixed doubles tennis, and I'm like, okay, well, why don't you relax? But I had a good partner.
That's what's up.
She always tells me to calm down, so we have a good rapport.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right, dog. Well, if you don't got anything else, I'm gonna go eat some dinner.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Bye.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you next time.
Peace.